Women market vendors operating from different markets within Arua City have raised concerns over the unfavorable working conditions at some of these market facilities, which according to them is a violation of their rights, as this is also making their work difficult. According to these women, some of the conditions through which they operate at some of the facilities are unfavorable, as they are faced with numerous challenges such as poor garbage disposal, overtaxation, poor lighting, among others, as factors affecting their businesses. During a recent stakeholder engagement organized by Strategic Initiative of Women in the Horn of Africa to deliberate on women market vendors manifestos, Jane Aquero, the chairperson of the Wala Market Vendors Cooperative, says that they are still faced with the challenge of street vending.
With the street vending in Arua City, it is a very serious concern, because the lives of the vendors also, first of all, is at risk. And the vendors feel they would vend on the streets, which is not right. But those who are inside the marketplaces, which are already constructed, they also face a challenge, because the street vendors have already taken over the customers. So they lose. It also encourages them more to come to the streets.
Aquero therefore appeals to the city authorities to address this challenge, since the vice is affecting them as the occupants of the facilities.
It is not right. So I think my opinion to this, first of all, the city authorities need to put more efforts, because at times when people do not want to understand, they need to first of all be sensitized. Then after speaking to them, and they give them time. Can you by this time take a step and leave this? Then after that is done, they can also put enforcers to see that this is done, so that the streets are left alone.
Maturo Lilian, who works as the outreach officer with the Strategic Initiative for Women in the Horn of Africa, a civil society organization championing and advocating for the welfare of the women in the formal sector in the region, calls for inclusivity in policy making and leadership so as to address some of the concerns.
Like when you look at the markets, you find that most of the tenders have been given to men, and yet women dominate over 80% of those who vend in the markets. And when they're making those decisions, most times they are not included in the decision-making processes, and yet it impacts negatively on the women.
Right Honorable Tabu Fred, the Deputy Speaker of Arua City, calls for continuous sensitization of the vendors about their rights and duties to prevent them from suffering at their facilities.
Of course, the rights come with the duties, the duty bearer and the right holder. Many times we sometimes deliberately or unknowingly violate the rights of people when we don't intend to do, and sometimes intentionally such rights are violated.
Meanwhile, Fene Rogers, a legal officer with the Uganda Law Society, commits to promote justice to the women market vendors whose rights are being violated at the various facilities.
As Uganda Law Society, our commitment remains not only to these women, is to enhance access to justice for all. As Uganda Law Society, we provide access to, we provide justice to all persons. Why do we say access to justice? It is ensure that every Ugandan has access to legal services.
During the engagement organized by SIHA Network on 25th of March 2025 in Arua City, different stakeholders signed various commitments to address the various concerns raised by the women market vendors. Oraku Benson Pastore, reporting for Western Television Nilecast.